Hello my lovely coffee people, thank you for clicking the link. You're about to watch a video about the new brew method theory that might be interesting for you. My name is Toby and I'm into specialty coffee for a couple of years now. I document pretty much everything that I experience while I'm building my coffee career, but I'm talking most of the time in German. So please do not subscribe, please do not follow if you don't want to get disappointed. If you want to connect and chat around a bit, you definitely should. Quick disclaimer, in this video I'm talking about my personal thoughts, my personal experience, and I would like to share it with you. Do not take this as a fact, please don't. I want to start a conversation and get a bit nerdy in the comments about this topic. So please share your thoughts with me in the comments, but let's start right away. The outlook for the future of specialty coffee requires us to rethink how coffee gets produced, prepared and consumed. One thought that I find really interesting was, I think I got that from Matt Perger, we need to rethink how much coffee beans we use to produce a cup of coffee. When I stumbled over a video by Barista Hustle at the Assembly Coffee Roastery in London, you can find the link below, an interesting thought came to my mind. Matt Perger is showing, I think at 34 minutes, how we don't use the full potential of the coffee grounds. Because most of the time, due to grinding particle distribution and the bean cell structure, the water won't get into the center of the coffee, leaving a certain percentage of the coffee grounds that the water never touched. So often we are basically just wasting coffee. Please watch the lecture for the whole insight and the whole explanation. Like I said, link below. So let's get to the question that came to my mind. Couldn't we just first saturate the coffee with water for a longer period of time, that the water gets everywhere inside the biggest coffee particles, but without starting the actual extraction? Then in a second step, applying heat to get the extraction started and use these created paths to quickly extract what we want out of the coffee. If that would work, these created paths, these created channels would allow the water to get more easily inside of the dense bean, and the impact of the particle size on the extraction would lose some of its importance. On the other hand, if that's not the case, wouldn't it at least lead to a much higher extraction in a shorter period of time? So we could use the grind setting that produces the most uniform grounds, no matter how fine this grind setting is. And so finally, could we reduce the amount of coffee we use for a hand brew while maintaining an appropriate body and a balanced and rich taste? That would be really cool, I thought, and I came up with this little technique that I called cold bloom. I chose this name because it combines the cold brew technique with the blooming phase of brewing a pour over. So let me explain. We divide the brewing process in two phases, the cold bloom phase and the brewing phase. In the cold bloom phase, we take advantage of the room temperature water to slowly saturate all the grounds 1 minute 30 to 2 minute 30. You would use almost the same amount of water as you would use for blooming. After that, we start with the second phase by pouring hot water with around 96 to 99 degrees to compensate the heat loss through the room temperature water, which will bring down the final temperature. The brewing after a much shorter brewing time that you would usually do. Of course, depending on the brewing device that you use. And I did a couple of test brews. The reduced amount of coffee used with the cold bloom surprisingly often still resulted in a sweet and balanced cup, even though the acidity was a bit muted sometimes. And of course, I still perceived a slightly reduction in body. But now's the point where I need your help. Because if you think this is a quite interesting thing, please get involved and share your findings, your thoughts, your experiences with the whole topic. Can you relate to my theory? Do you think I'm completely crazy? Let me know your honest thoughts on Instagram, YouTube, in the comments, or just text me personally. I would love to collect all the data and do a little wrap-up video and share it with the whole coffee specialty community. Everyone's invited. And if you share the video with your coffee folks, please make sure that you also think about those who have a scientific approach. Because if those get involved, the research can get on a different level. I'm excited to hear from you, and I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your country. And as I say in German, vielen Dank und bis bald.